right. I'm super excited about this one. Okay. So I feel like it's for the culture. We always do things for the culture. Nigel Sylvester, you have completely changed things when it comes to bikes. I'm just going to say bikes in general. I'm not even going to categorize what type of bikes. And so, first of all, welcome to Montgomery and Company. That's my sister Nicole here. Serena Grace is my wife. And then my Snooker Booker, which is my mom. This is
Hello.
who makes up Montgomery and Company. It's a family business here. So thank you
Right.
for joining us. And
Welcome, welcome.
yes,
Thank
welcome.
you.
And
Thank
I'd
you for
love,
having me.
yeah, and I'd love to just hear how you got started in bikes because there's not bikes isn't usually a thing that we gravitate to, but that's what you started with, and that's what you booming with now.
Nah, yeah, man. Like when you think about bicycle riding, I feel like a lot of us have childhood memories, right? Or like can think about the first time we like rode a bicycle, or that time we fell off and we scraped our knee or bruised our shin and we came home and our moms was like, "What are you doing? How are you hurting yourself?" I had a lot of those moments myself. But
Yes.
it was something about the freedom that I got when I rode bicycles. It was something about the energy that I channeled through bicycle riding, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with those feelings. I fell in love with the way that it allowed me to create and express myself and completely live out my imagination. And I stuck with it happily. I stuck with it, and I'm here now, still riding my bike and still living out my imagination and dreaming big, and all the amazing things that are going on in my life.
It's really crazy because it's just
That's
like, first of
amazing.
all, when I watch your videos, I'm terrified all at once for the things y'all are doing. I'm turned up at
Right,
the people that you just randomly dapping up and hopping in the video. I'm trying to see where
right.
are you taking us.
Yeah, well,
We're
we're
scared for
scared
y'all
for
and we're
y'all.
hyped for y'all at the same time. So it's like
Right.
when you hit people up for these videos, do they already know who you are and like how the videos are? Because it's like they feel like it seems like they all are in on the joke. Like this is lit.
No, I mean, like I've been creating content my entire career, right? And whether it's a regular Instagram video, whether it's a YouTube video, whether it's part of my Go series, whether it's branded content, we always try to tell stories that are authentic to who I am and that are relatable um, to just everyone. So yeah, like just sometimes we might see someone in my video like, damn, like how the hell did this person end up here? Or you might be like,
Yes, how
well,
did they
why?
end up there, Nigel? That's what I want to ask you. I saw
I
Rick Ross,
mean,
Yes.
Corday, DJ Khaled, just to
DJ
name
right,
a few.
Khaled.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
I saw NBA players. You was playing video. Like,
right,
how does this happen? Like,
J
yes.
right.
Balvin.
It just, it,
I just had to represent
of
for the
course.
Latinos real quick.
Shout out to the homie Balvin. It just happens. Like I'm outside on my bicycle all the time riding, and I run into people, whether I'm at a party or an event or a mutual friend. It just happens. I feel like that classic saying, like real recognize real. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we're all artists, we're all creatives, and you can see when someone really puts themselves into their craft and into what they're doing. And a lot of people you just mentioned, these are people that I mean, like listen to their music, or we may be hanging out somewhere at an event or a party, and we get to talking. And when the time is right to collaborate, we do. And I'm very grateful for like those moments and those opportunities because I'm able to highlight people that I respect, and then vice versa, like they're able to like highlight me as well. So it's just synergy, and when it works, it works.
It's working. Nigel,
I
it's
love that.
working.
So
It
it's working.
definitely is.
So do you direct the
um,
videos?
so a lot of the stuff that I do, I co-directed.
Oh,
And I'm involved in
oh,
the entire
okay.
process, like beginning to end, right? So that's one thing that people may think I just show up.
That's
Like I
dope.
don't just show up. Like I'm actually like sitting down in a room, like we're writing out the concepts, we're planning it, we
Wow.
produce it.
Mm.
A lot of the stuff that I do, I'm in front of the camera, so I still need someone behind the camera to like navigate things and to
Yeah.
keep things in order. But it's always a collaborative process, right? And a lot of the content that I'm able to do
Right.
or that I do better yet, I'm able to collaborate with people who are friends of mine. So it's always a fun experience. We get to travel the world together, and just create, which is something that that's very fulfilling for me.
I love
Nice.
that. And so,
Nice.
how
Love
long does
that.
it take you to create a video per se? Like y'all are in the
Mhm.
room, y'all are chopping it up with the concepts. Like I saw it.
Right.
One was like, next up, we're heading to Africa, and it's like, well, wait a minute, we going international. Like, so
Right.
how long does it take to like prepare for one of those videos?
Depending on like the content piece, it can take a few minutes or it can take a few months. Like we just shot a video recently where I rode through a moving sprinter, and that was an idea that we were on another photo
What?
shoot, and yes, it
That's
was
crazy.
wild. We were
Wait,
on like another photo
you
shoot,
rode through a moving hold on, help me
right?
understand. What does this mean? Like
I know that. You gotta
you
explain
rode
that to
Wait a
us.
through
minute.
a moving
Just
sprinter?
to make sure, is the
Right.
Sprinter the vans, the big tall vans that
Yes.
have the
Big, yeah, right.
yeah,
The
So
big,
Yes.
help me
right.
understand. Make it make sense, Nigel.
Now I got you right. So, so sprinter vans are the big cargo vans, have the empty back, high
yeah,
ceiling. Usually, people use it for moving big, like large items.
right.
So, I had one of my boys driving the sprinter, and we had the back door of the sprinter open. So the doors open like this. We have those open, and then sliding door on the side, we slid that open. So while the sprinter van is driving, going forward, I'm riding super fast, and I jump into the back of it, and then ride out the side of it. Um,
Wild.
yeah,
Wild.
Sounds
What
like a
action
movie.
movie will
It
this
sounds
air
like
in?
This
right.
sounds like some
it
Fast
sounds
and
like
Furious
fun.
type of
You
stuff or
would be a
I'm
great
something.
definitely
stunt
preparing
person.
for right. I'm definitely preparing for Fast and Furious 12 or something like that. You know
I
what
know
I
that's
mean?
right.
but a video like that, we were actually on another photo shoot and just thinking about ideas. And I'm like, oh, let's ride the sprinter van. So a couple weeks later, we got the van and we went out, and 2 hours later, the video was done. So sometimes that happens, and there's
Crazy.
other times where it's like, oh, we have to plan this out for a few months and put a lot of different moving pieces together. So it's just depending on what the creative calls for.
I love it. And you're like a
That's dope.
generational talent in a sense of you did things very differently. Like, like
Right.
you used your sport, but did it how like in the content world. And so what is it like when you set out to do that and then you hear Jay-Z mentioning your name in a song? You're the
Right.
first athlete with Jordan Brand creating customized shoes. Like, what is that
Right.
like for you?
Shout out to Team Jordan. See, I'm repping today.
Hey, I know that's nice.
It's honestly surreal. At times I just can't believe like where my life is at right now. So it's exactly how you would imagine it is. It's just like no 2 days are the same. And it's truly a blessing. I'm extremely thankful, for where I'm at, and I feel like the way that I can um, continue to honor where I'm at is by continuing to push myself as much as possible and making a way for those behind me.
I love that. And so
Yeah,
I
that
love
makes me
that.
yeah,
That's
think about
beautiful.
what you're doing. So it's National Bike Month,
right,
and you're doing a lot of stuff in this month, not for yourself, but with your foundation and for kids. I
yeah,
mean, you're doing a lot of stuff too, and don't feel bad about
Yes.
that. But I want people to know that you're also doing things involving bikes with your
The work
the
behind the
behind the
scenes
scenes
right,
stuff
too.
about what you're doing. So can you just kind of elaborate on some of those things?
for sure. So a little less than a year ago, we launched the Nigel Sylvester Foundation, and it was very important to me to create a foundation that gave back to the communities that supported me. The bicycle has this unique ability to blur cultural lines and to galvanize communities of all walks of life. And so this month being the first National Bike Month that the foundation has been established, it was important to me and to my entire team that we celebrate this month and we give back to those communities in like a meaningful way. So a couple of days ago, we teamed up with the Boys and Girls Club, and we teamed up with Pitchin Foundation, which is CC Sabathia's foundation.
Come on,
And we don't
CC.
right. Shout out to CC, man. Shout out to CC. And we donated 31 bikes to kids that live in Queens and Brooklyn. And the reason why we did 31 because it's a bike a day
Oh,
for every day in the month of May. And
wow.
it was amazing. Like I walked into like the Boys and Girls gym, and there were kids from all walks of life, right? From like every skin tone, every background, and they were all there, and they were super excited. And for some of those kids, like this is the first time anyone's ever given them a bicycle, and the kids are grabbing their bikes and they're riding out the riding out the gym, and they're changing the gears, and it's just dope to provide mobility and access and something as powerful as a bike to like kids in need, especially with the summertime coming up. So that was how we kicked off the month, and then we're doing a bike ride on May 7th for like this upcoming Saturday. We're doing a 12-mile bike ride through New York City. Wow. That I'm super excited about. And then we have a couple other moments nationally, one in LA and I think one in Vegas, where we're doing bike rides and just supporting communities and through the power of bicycle riding.
So you turning up on National Bike Month is what you just said.
Oh yeah, we got to. Hell yeah, we got to.
You turning up one time.
I love that. Shout out to Queens. I'm from Queens, so I just wanted to shout out my I'm from Queens. So I love what you're doing. You're bringing people together, and you know, like growing up in New York, it is a different culture. You know, I do remember like everybody had their own bikes. Like having a bike was a big deal. So I love how you bring in, you know, like those memories back and mixing in the culture and bringing people together.
Of course. Like I'm a example of riding a bike out the hood, and I know what that journey was like, and so I know like how the bicycle saved me from a lot of trouble, a lot of things I probably shouldn't have been getting involved into. So I just want to be able to continue to share that with kids. It's just something that's like very important to me.
So I'm curious with the bike and changing stories and narratives. Do you think that you created a whole nother lane for bikers? Like, and have you seen, you know, other Nigel style of content coming from your world? Like, have you like? Because I think you're generational talent, but have you started it and you saw it beforehand? I'm not in that space, but is this like completely new and different than anything people have been doing?
I mean, people have been riding BMX bikes since the 80s, right? You just haven't seen a lot of us riding BMX bikes, and especially on like a global stage, you know. So I feel with what I've done, I've presented bicycle riding in a way that it hasn't been prior to me, and I've shown people a new way to go about having a career as a professional bike rider, you know. And what I want to continue to do is dismantle those stigmas around what a bicycle rider looks like, right? Or I want to like continue to break down like stereotypes and break down those limitations that they put on young Black boys, where we can ride bikes too. Like we can turn up, we can fly through the sky, you know. And that's just something I feel like we need to see, you know. And I've been fortunate enough to be in the position that I'm in, so I'm going to continue to turn up as much as possible.
Yes, sir.
I
love that.
Representation.
Let me say this. I know I'm in Baltimore, and bikes are huge in Baltimore.
Crazy.
Huge in Baltimore. But I do love to see when you can always tell it's springtime when you go outside and all of a sudden you just see tons of kids on bikes. I mean, riding everywhere. And I love to see it because the kids are all having fun.
Facts.
They're going across the streets. Some are popping wheelies, some are wiping out. You're just like, oh, okay. Then they get up and they keep going. Then you always got the one little kid, the one tiniest kid who has the huge bike. You're like, he borrowed somebody's bike. He out there doing what he got to do. So I think it's awesome. And I also want to say shout out to Snook and Diddy because we had BMX bikes in the 80s. My mom and dad got us. We had them when we was little. Weren't too many BMXs where we was at, but we had them. So I'm going to say they was doing it early too.
Hell yeah. Like that was one of the best feelings, just like riding through the hood with your friends. Like mobbing through. It's like one of the best feelings. So.
We used to have bike dates actually.
Right.
We used to have bike dates actually. We would go to the park or load them up on the truck and the whole family. And as a matter of fact, my daughter who lives here, she has 6 kids and they take 6 kids to adults and they go to a bike park and ride.
That's wild. Shay got a Brady Bunch. It was 2 families came together. I want to state that. Nothing wrong with having 6 kids, but I just wanted to state that for Shay. But I'm curious, you said you're going to keep turning up. What do you have going on with Hyper Ice?
Yeah, so I signed with Hyperice like a year ago, actually, almost a year ago today, actually.
Wow.
And we've been doing some incredible things together. And I thank you. I'm actually an investor in the brand as well, which is amazing.
Get into ownership. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Yes, financial literacy. Love
Exactly.
that.
And like that's something that's super important to me as well, is as I build my content portfolio and continue to do the things I'm doing in front of the camera, it's important that my team and I would put in some energy into building my actual business, you know? So what we've been doing, Hyperrice, like, since we partnered up, we've been working with my old high school, and we're planning to do a recovery room in the high school and provide access to Hyperrice products and access to recovery for the athletes and the faculty there. So I'm super passionate about that. We've done like a couple campaigns, which is amazing. The most recently, we've created some content, did some things around Hypervolt Go 2, which is something that I use on a daily basis. Like it's an essential for me, you know. And like when I'm traveling, when I'm riding, whether it's pre-ride or post-ride, just making
So
sure
let me
that my
find out.
body
Y'all are
is
like,
right.
I know y'all are athletes too, so don't take this wrong. But it's like,
Athletes
hold
too
on.
sounds crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like,
I know,
We're
right? I know,
athletes.
right?
y'all are
Athletes.
stretching. You're stretching before you go out. Like what? Y'all got like, what's your routine, Nigel? Do you stretch
Nah,
before you go on these rides through the city? Like what's it
have
like?
to.
Wow.
Have to. Like the body is everything, you know, and something that has always been important to me throughout my career is longevity, and that starts with taking care of myself. So an opportunity to present itself to partner with Hyperice, it just made so much sense to me, and it was aligned with my goals. You know, again, like taking care of my body, like making sure when I'm on my bicycle, properly stretched, I'm flexible, I'm ready to go, because whether I jump on the rail and then I need to bail off, I need to make sure like when I'm bailing off, like I'm not stretching anything or straining anything. Because
Okay.
bike riding is
Right, it's a
strenuous.
real
Yeah, like it's
sport.
very strenuous. Like I'm lifting up myself and my bike constantly, or we're riding on any given day. We're riding 15, 20 miles. Like it's the
Wow.
thing. So it's a full
Goodness.
body
15,
workout.
20 miles? Like
Man,
that's
Yeah,
and biking is no
not
joke.
at all.
listen, I went biking
Not
one
at
time
all.
in Colorado, and that's the last time I went biking. So I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like I know, like don't get me wrong, I know it's tough. I don't even like to get on the bike in the weight room, so I know it's
I was just gonna say I don't even like to get on the bike on the gym, and
so don't
that's
get
not
it
even
twisted.
mobile.
We
So
know you out there working it out. I just didn't
Nah, it's
know,
a
like,
thing.
the stretching and the pre-post. Like, that's dope to
Oh
hear,
no,
just athlete to athlete perspective. Of course, you got to cool down because that's what
hell yeah.
everybody does. So I'm
No,
just
it's
curious,
important.
what's next for you? Like, what kind of, you talked about building your business. What does building your
Mhm.
business look like?
Well, that's like a very loaded question, right?
It's loaded.
But it's loaded, right?
right.
This is pretty much for me. It's growing the different verticals within my business. So everything from the brand partnerships that we're doing, to all the philanthropy work we're doing with the foundation. Continue to push myself as an athlete on the bicycle. All the content that we want to continue to evolve on beyond like the social media and stuff, and beyond like YouTube, like getting into like the film and television space. That's also important to me as well. Um, getting my hands more into the art world, you know, and the designing art pieces, because I grew up as like an artist, like drawing and stuff, and going to like art school. So
For
channeling
real?
that
So you
energy
draw
as well.
too, Nigel? Come
Used
on.
to draw when I was a kid. Now I just doodle,
Do we
but
have any NFTs in the future or
yeah,
anything?
even like stuff like that, right? Like these like new waves of like technology and how the world is changing. Looking at those things and identifying places that my brand makes sense next to those things. So there's a lot at hand right now, and I'm into the element of surprise. So I'm not going to be a list down like we're working on all these things, but just know that we have some
No,
amazing things
that's
in the works.
exactly what
You
I
know.
was asking. That's exactly it. Like you're building up not just you on camera as an on camera talent. You're building a business
Mm,
that when you're not actually working on camera, your business is still going. And that's literally kind of we're in the same space of the same foundation, building
yeah.
an on camera talent, but wanting to be
Mm,
behind the camera as well and producing. So I hope you get all of that. And I can't be a hooper and not ask this.
Yes.
Like, talk about getting your own Air Jordan 1s, man. What is that, Nigel?
Yo, that moment right there, man, it was a milestone, right? Like a testament to all the hard work, right? Like as a kid, like growing up in the hood, you know, like we idolized Jordan. You know what I mean? Having a pair of Jordans was everything. I've been watching Jordan on TV, going crazy. So being able to turn pro when I was 18, right? And I signed to Nike when I was 18, so I've been signed to Nike for like half my life, you know, which is amazing. And have an opportunity to do a Air Jordan 1, which is my favorite shoe. And not just do the shoe and not just design it, but tell my story in regards to how I interact with the shoe and just knowing what that shoe means to the sneaker culture, the culture at large, people around the world. It was an incredible moment. You know, it was a very, very incredible moment. And then to sign to Jordan as the first action sports athlete, a few years later, it's like a dream come true for me. You know, so we're gonna continue to turn up over there too. We got some things that we're working on right now, so be on the lookout for that as well.
I'm a size 8, Nigel. We wish you the best. We wish you the best in everything.
I'm a size 10.
Since we're doing this, size 9.
We gotta start passing out those shoes, right?
You get a shoe,
you get a shoe, you get a shoe.
You get a shoe.
Well, me and Renee, we'll just share. We'll just share pairs.
Nigel, we wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for hopping on here with us in
so
Montgomery.
Nice to meet you and good luck.
Thank you.
And your video was just so inspiring.
Oh, that was wild.
Oh, man, that was really inspiring.
That was
wild.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the time, and I like this family business. This is amazing, keeping it in the family. So you guys continue to work hard, grow the podcast, do like the content. You know, man. Good luck to you guys in the future.